Hello and welcome to Intuitive Clarifications with Natasha. I am here to support you in your life's journey. I'm an intuitive medium. I do personal life um, helping just people through emotions, helping them through things. And today is one of my days that I might be a little bit emotional because it's my dad's anniversary of being passing. So, but that was like 33 years ago. So I'm kind of negotiating it differently than I did before. But, it's one of those things. So I just want everybody to say I'm just grateful that whoever can come and please make comments that are appropriate. And I'm just so grateful to have Jodie here. She came into my life after I was on, what was it? It just left my head.
Mara's podcast.
Yeah, the Jeff Morrow podcast, and
Jeff,
you reached Jeff Morrow, and yeah, I'm very dyslexic today, and sometimes my grief throws me into that, so I apologize ahead of time here. That you reached out to me to be on your wonderful conference that you're doing this summer
Summit.
about
Yeah,
gut
yeah.
health and that kind of stuff. And so we've just started out this wonderful conversation with each other, and it's like, hey, come on my show, and I'm so grateful you're here. So and you have light in your eyes, so do you want to move over just a little bit the other way?
Yep. It's
You can't move
sunsetting
closer to
here,
the wall,
so
but you might be able to. Yeah, and I love it. I love it. I love it. There's no
it's
judgment
like you
here.
go the opposite way. It's you think you're going the right way, and it's the opposite way.
Oh, I know. But this is a perfectly imperfect show. We're all just human during this journey. So, Jodie Jolene, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Because I think your story is amazing.
Yeah, wow, it's been quite the journey with health stuff going on in my life, and it started out actually. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my thing here. It started out with me. I lost you. I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't worry about it. You're still on camera,
Okay,
so
there you are.
uh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, it started out with I started bloating off and on. Like my stomach would get big and then it would go down, and it was like I said, off and on. And then and it was right before I got married. And then after I got married, it was like permanently huge. I mean, I looked 9 months pregnant and it lasted for 19 years. I mean, talk about a long time. So
Yeah.
and I, of course, I've always been into health. I've always been into health and self development since I was 22 years old, and just trying to overcome trauma from growing up. And so it was like I couldn't figure it out. And I've done a lot of internal work, and I know about the body and health. It's always been my thing. I used to be called a health nut. And so it's like, why can't I figure this out? And of course, I tried all kinds of things, every alternative you can think of. I even went to Mexico for 2 weeks to a cancer clinic, thinking that maybe that would help me because I knew somebody that went there.
Mm-hmm.
They do all natural there. I'm very much all natural, and that didn't do anything. So, and it wasn't until like 19 years later, I
Yes.
I ended up getting a divorce, and then I got in a relationship with a narcissist. Holy moly, I didn't really know what a narcissist was until pretty much after that relationship, when I started to learn what the hell was really going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so I'm in this relationship with him, and he was like so like emotionally and verbally abusive to me, to the point that it brought me to my knees, and I went, oh my god, I can't even function anymore. Like it was like it hit me so hard, and it was like I felt like I was gonna have a breakdown. And so I just said, I was on the phone, and I'm like, don't ever call me again. And I hung up. Of course, you get calling and calling, but
Uh-huh. Because
I,
that would be that it's not me, it's not me. What did I do? It's not me. Yes.
right. So anyway, so I needed that. I know that sounds crazy, but I needed that to happen because I had abuse from men as a child and I hadn't healed it. I hadn't healed all my men stuff. And so that was like the universe saying, okay, we're going to
Let's get the door open.
we're going to give you the worst ever. And it was, man, it was. So anyway, so then I started to do deeper internal work, like deeper within, like than I ever had before. And it was really because I was a single mom. Matter of fact, it all started, I had a friend that stayed with me for a short time, and she looked at, because she left her boyfriend and stuff, and she looked at me and she was like, what the hell are you doing? And I go, what are you talking about, and she's like, you're gonna kill yourself, you're like running constantly, you're not sleeping, and I'm like, she goes, you need to slow down. I said, are you nuts? I can't slow down. I'm a single mom and I got to pay rent and, all the story. I went on and on. Yet, of course, in the back of my mind, I knew she was right.
Yep.
Right.
How do you do life and then take care of you at the same time?
Yeah.
It's a weird balance.
Yeah. So here I am, like, so then I started to, she actually told me a few things. And so then I started to slow down. And so then things just started to shift for me. Internally, I did more like deeper inner child healing, self-love. I remember somebody saying to me once, well, I deeply love myself. And I thought, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
It was so foreign. And it was like, oh yeah, I like myself, whatever. Right. Yeah. I didn't know, And so, yeah, the self-love, that's huge because that's your worth. Right.
And
And so,
actually we're talking about gut health, and that's part of that gut health.
yes,
It's
for sure.
core. It's a
Yeah.
core thing.
Yeah. That's your power center.
Yeah, exactly.
And I lost my power as a child. So of course, all my issues happened in the gut.
Mm-hmm.
And also the other thing with that was I used to stuff my feelings. I would literally hold my breath so I wouldn't cry. I didn't want anybody to know the pain I was in. So I would hold my breath and not cry. Well, here I am as an adult holding my breath, not on purpose. It's just this habit I developed, But, all those things that I stuffed down, well, they're living in my body.
Yep.
And I did not know. It was when one day my stomach went from looking 9 months pregnant to a flat stomach. And I was like, what the heck happened? Like, I had done all this stuff for 19 years. And all of a sudden I did this work to heal from this narcissist, and all of a sudden my stomach was flat. And I was like, wow. And then it was like, oh my God, I had this revelation, like, my stomach has been speaking to me this whole time and I wasn't listening. Like, it was telling me I needed to do deeper work. And so I was like, oh my God, it's emotional, right? So then, I don't know, maybe I was still in the having good days and bad days period for a bit. And this one day I'm having a good day, and that same friend happened to come over. And we were standing in my kitchen and talking, and then my phone rang and I looked down and it was the abusive narcissist. And that fast, my stomach went huge. And I looked at her and I went like this, like, look at my stomach. It went from flat to huge in an instant. The second I saw his number, on my phone. That's how fast your thoughts go in your body, that fast. And that solidified what I already knew, that it's emotional.
Yep, exactly. And part of that, though, I'm going to add on, is that part of that is our nervous system.
Yes.
Our
Yeah.
nervous system will even react faster than our mind does.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the nervous system. If you think about how much of our nervous system is from our neck down,
Yeah.
so, and the nervous system deals with the emotions. So if we're
Yeah.
not safe, what's it going to do? It's going to go into protection.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it's in the body. The body Your body is always speaking to you, always. Every symptom you have is your body literally speaking to you. But we are not taught this. We're not taught to listen to our body. We're taught to go take a pill and make it go away.
Exactly.
Well, it won't. Yeah, maybe you'll get some temporary relief, but it's not going to heal it.
Mm-mm.
It's going to get worse, or it'll pop up in another area because your body's trying to get your attention. You can't escape it.
No.
You can't. You cannot escape it.
Well, your body is your carrier, you
Yeah.
know. Without your body, you're not going through life.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know? So how
It's
do
your
you
purple. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Well, I want to say congratulations on
Yeah.
doing the work that you've done, because
Yeah.
it's not easy to go back into that deep emotional work. I know
Yeah.
that I've done a lot of it. I mean, after my parents passed away, I said that tipped that box over, everything that I crammed into it, being abused, all the trauma of bullying and
Mm.
unworthiness and all that. And I said, I'm going to tip the box over, because I knew what was on the bottom was what that was longest stuffed in there.
Yeah.
It was the things that are the heaviest that would filter to the bottom, and I just said, I got to deal with the stuff that's the heaviest on top, the darkest, that stuff. And it was like my husband even said, "You're not the same woman I married,"
Hmm. In
because
a
it
good way.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, because I'm not shy, quiet, really
Yeah.
passive. It's like I have a voice now. I'm willing to,
Yes.
not always comfortably, but because I still have that shyness in me. I'm a double cancerian, so I have a double crab that wants to go underneath the rocks real quickly. And so I have to I have to keep myself from going underneath the rock. Plus, I have, if you look at my astrology, I have the god of war is in Cancer. So let me give a hug to the things that are warish, instead of like Aries that has the fire. Let me say something to you, right? No, 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 I'm not that way. you
Oh,
know, so I, going back to this, that how did you get through some of that emotional work? I mean, because I know that it's not an easy dance. And I know that people think, oh, I just got to look at this one thing and it's done.
oh, no, I know people want that magic thing. I wish, right? We all wish. But there's all these different aspects of it. Like I said, it was like the inner child, and then and the self-love, and oh my gosh, and boundaries, and mindset, and I mean there's so many different pieces to it. It's not just one thing. And I will share this, like if you if you forgot, if you well, let me say this first. We disconnect, okay? When we have trauma, we
Hmm.
literally disconnect from our bodies because
Yes.
it's too much for us to handle. And so that's a
We
lot of
shoot out.
going on. Yeah. Plus, we're in this world where it's all head stuff. You go to college, you got to be smart. You go take a test. It means you're
Hmm.
smart. No, you're not. You're in your head. You're not. You have no idea what your body's saying.
Yeah.
That's so disconnected. And so that's part of the process too, is to get reconnected in the body. So I do work with like nervous system stuff also, in what
Hmm.
your body is saying to you, and helping people figure that out, and clearing and releasing that trauma that's trapped in the body, because that trauma is literally trapped in there. And so part of what I do is help people release that out of their body. So oh, what was I saying? No, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. That's okay. But it's that journey that we go through in getting deeper into.
Oh yeah, you said what did I do? Yeah, what did I do? But it's all those aspects to heal,
Mhm.
because you didn't one simple thing did not just happen to you. Now I know what I was going to say. So I blocked out 95% of my childhood. I still don't remember. Nothing ever came to me that I have forgotten. And I still healed. So it's not
Mhm.
like you have to remember and
No.
relive or anything like that. You can still heal, and that stuff stays in the past, but you can start valuing yourself. You can release the trapped emotions out of the body from the trauma, but
Mhm.
you don't have to remember the trauma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I know that, like one of the mantras that I use a lot for doing some of my work is I honor you.
Mm.
The past, I honor you. I value you. Thank you for going through what you did. And I'm going to get healthier in spite of you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
It's
good.
that honoring because we go through so much and my body emotions did it and that's past lives and I even consider yesterday a past life. So it's like I include all the lifetimes around me, including my younger self, that I honor you. I
Yeah.
truly honor you. But I'm going to have to be me in spite of it.
Yeah.
It's that transformation, transforming it into the now of who I am, you
And
know.
one thing I encounter a lot when I'm working with people is, and I had this too, you probably can relate, people can relate. It's like when you've had things that happened to you when you're young, you don't have compassion for yourself. But yet, if you saw a little 7-year-old, you would have so much compassion. But when you were 7, you're not compassionate about yourself for what you went through.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Like I was talking to someone the other day about how, no matter where you're at, because she was trying to find something of herself, and I said, wherever you're at, go pick her up and hug her.
Yeah.
She deserves a hug, no matter where you're at and what you're going through. Go
Yeah.
pick her up and hug her, and say we're safe. And then bring her forward into the life that you're in now, and it doesn't matter where that is, but you gotta hug. We gotta hug. And I'm saying this in order to heal, sometimes we just gotta hug.
Yeah. Yep.
Hug that emotion, hug that moment, hug. And it's not meaning that that we have to forgive, because there's unforgivable moments, but we're okay in spite of it.
Yeah. You get
We're
to be,
gonna be okay in spite of it.
yeah. It's being seen,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Witnessed.
witnessed. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good word. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I love the work that you do, though. You're doing amazing work
Yeah.
in this process, and
Well, and I don't want to sound negative, but yet this is just something like this world is a trauma-based world. It just is. There's so much of it everywhere.
Mhm.
And so I don't know a person on this planet that does not need some healing from wounds and hurts. Seriously.
I hear you. Yeah, because like I had a safe family. My family was safe. A lot of people didn't have a safe family.
Yeah.
Now the world was not safe outside my home, but inside my home it was safe. Now there's a lot of people that can say the opposite. It was safer to be outside their home than inside their home. And
Yeah.
everybody has something
Yep.
that
Yep.
did, even if you have the most perfect parents, their
Hmm.
parents did something. And that's what I tell all new parents. You know, get over it. You're gonna
I
screw them
know.
up no matter what, and you're gonna do something. And I mean this with a lot of love. You cannot be perfect.
I know.
There's
You
no
want to be.
perfect, because even if you try to be perfect, you're still gonna screw up your kid.
Yep. I know.
So, and then if you think about it, our kids, you know, have their own stories that they got to live, and
Yeah.
in in addition to that, and so there again, then we cause our own personal drama and
Hmm.
trauma.
Yeah. It's so weird because I had mom guilt, like I should have done this, I should have done that. And then yet I felt like I did good. And then it's like, but then I did this. Oh my God, you can make yourself crazy with all that stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's where I fall back on a conversation that my dad had with me when I was young, and I used it to this day still. At that minute in time, you had this much information that you did that action.
Yeah.
Later, the next day, the next month, you'll have other information that you wish that if you think back would have made another decision, but you didn't have that information.
Right.
So you got to give yourself grace for where you're at and making those decisions.
Yeah. If I had a little one now, I mean, my daughter's out of college, but it's like if she were little, it would be a whole different ballgame with where I'm at now, but
Exactly.
that's just the way it is.
But that's not our soul's journey.
Yeah.
Your soul and her soul needed to go through those experiences at that time to gather what they are. And I know my youngest kid, has a lot of um, amnesia around. her childhood too, and which saddens me, but yet I understand why. And
Mhm.
and even with that statement, she looks at me and she goes, "Mom, I wouldn't change anything that happened
Mm.
because I like who I am today."
Yeah.
And that there shows that at least I had some stability for her
Yeah.
and some language that she can hold on to,
Yep.
you
She's
know?
wise to think
S
that now at her age. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's what, 27 now? So, yeah, she's got my kids, though, I gotta say, they came in this world knowing, because I needed stable kids. The rest of the world, yeah, that was falling apart. I needed stable kids.
Yeah.
So I got lucky in that department.
Yeah.
There's still with some drama, trauma, pain, ache, why this
Yeah.
happens. But at the
And
same
and
time, though,
and I think that generation right now that it's anxiety is the thing. Like it is huge. We talked about that once and
mm-hmm.
wow, it's so huge at that age. I
Exactly,
don't know
exactly.
why that is, but they handle
Well,
the trauma differently. I don't know. I don't really know.
but that's the thing is that like I know that one of my kids, it was my first child, and my dad died when I was 6 weeks away from having my first child, and so with that he handles the emotions a little differently. Where my younger one, I was just finding out my mom had Lou Gehrig's disease when I
Mm,
was pregnant and having her. So my nervous system was pretty shot. Going through the grief 4 years, not even 4 years before that, then, so my nervous system was shot and I was not dealing with life as well as I could have. I mean,
mhm,
that year I bought, uh, I sold 3 houses, bought 1 house,
mhm,
and husband changed a job. It was like, and my mom was gonna be dying within the next couple years, you know? Second child. So with that, she herself has the fibromyalgia, the anxiety, the nervous system stuff. And this is one thing I have to give myself grace is that I probably didn't help that, because there's so many people that are born out of trauma and drama that their nervous systems, even in the womb, are not set
yeah.
up for success.
And birthing can be a trauma if I wanted mine was traumatic. I wanted a home birth and they wouldn't take me because I had heart issues in my
Mhm.
20s, in my early 20s. So it was like, I feel like that came from my childhood too. But I had healed all that myself. I healed,
Uh-huh.
I tell you, I've gone to doctors and not gotten anywhere. And I end up healing things myself. I've literally, yeah, right?
Me
Yeah.
too.
So cool. And so it's like, but then, so then I had to go to the hospital and that became a nightmare. Like, I won't even go into it. I'll tell you on the side sometime. But I feel like birth trauma, I'm sure it was trauma for her just
Mhm.
coming out. So it's, yeah, it's like crazy.
But I wanna give people credit because, as we're talking here, we're both people who are doing the work, and we're helping other people go through it, but we're still human. We still had a life. We still are doing it. So, this is not to say that every parent here or, I know that, a couple people watching have had children that haven't had been able to stand on their own 2 feet very well, you know? But that's the thing is that this is what I've witnessed is that people, once they're born, they actually have a soul's journey to do their own stuff.
Yep.
And so going into this, that this generation is meant to figure out emotions.
I think so,
And
right?
and
It sounds like,
anxiety
yeah.
and anxiety is a big piece of that, but
Yeah.
they haven't learned yet who's controlling who. Who's controlling who in that story of the emotion. So Paula, hi Paula, how you doing? So Paula says here, um My daughter is 21, has her horrible anxiety. There is no escape when her generation is the first one to not have fire drills. They have had
Mhm.
active shooter drills since kindergarten. Yes, and
Here.
fear-based and it's palatable. It's palatable, and that's the thing. And there's so many people that are empaths,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then
Oh my God. Yes.
whose anxiety are they actually picking up? Whose stress are they picking up? Whose So if you're in the middle of a active shooter drill, I work in the school district, so I understand all the drills. That that how do they how, whose energy are we picking up? It's amazing the different stories that we tell ourselves, and we don't understand our own. That's the whole thing, is that we got to learn our body. Our body is the thing that gets us up and walking around this world.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, that's the trauma-based world, right? Oh, there might be a shooter. They might be a shooter. Where's your nervous system? On high alert.
Fear and
Yeah.
flight, fear and
Yeah.
flight, and then our adrenals go,
Watch.
and then our nervous system, and
Yeah.
then our pituitary gland goes. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
this whole thing is gone, and we actually have it safe. You think about these other countries that have active shooters all the time,
Mhm.
where their nervous system is, and my love just goes around this world. It just goes
Yeah.
around this world. So let's get off that subject,
Yeah.
and let's scroll into
Well,
how.
let me tell you something that you can actually have your daughter do. Okay, sorry. Now the sun's like going this way. I can't do much because of the blinds I have. But anyway, one thing you can do if you're like feeling heightened anxiety, like you can literally go like this down your arms
Mhm.
and off the arm. I know I'm all weird looking, but don't look at my face. Look at my arms.
No, you're good. I love this, and this is one thing about live, is we keep shooting and we're still going, because it's nice that you're talking about something with light in your face.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Okay, so you start here and you go down. And you don't go like this, right? You go slow. Slow and off your elbow. Slow
Mhm.
and off your elbow.
That's called the Haven touch, isn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
almost like giving yourself a hug. It's soothing. It settles the nervous system. So that's something
Yes.
maybe you could tell your daughter to do.
That's a good one. And Paula also says all kinds of autoimmune problems throughout her friends circle. Yes, because that autoimmune is part of the nervous system. It's part of the endocrine system. The
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and when we're running on fear and flight, then a lot of our body goes crazy. And I know for me that I have gotten out of the story of trying to, let's say, lose weight or do this or do that, but I'm like, how can I keep my liver healthy?
Hmm.
That has been part of my language that I've shifted, because I don't want to worry about weight. I don't want to worry about this, but I know that if I eat a bunch of sugar, my liver isn't very
I like
happy.
it. Yeah.
Or if I eat a bunch of potatoes, my liver isn't very happy. And so then if my liver isn't happy, then I notice that I'm a little bit more tired, a little more anxious, don't sleep as well. I'm a little puffy. My body breaks into hives. It's like all these things that are great tellers, because the body does tell,
Yep.
like you were saying at the
Tells you
beginning.
everything you need to know.
Exactly, but I can tell you, since I've gotten off of the table sugars, I stopped eating the candy bars and actually my food allergen, or my food scenarios, has helped me with a little bit of that, being a nut allergy that I cannot. So there's a lot of sugars, and I don't do corn, so there's a lot of the candies that I don't eat.
Yeah.
But you know, but I can tell you, my skin.
Oh yeah. Better, right?
It's better because our skin is the biggest organ that we have. People forget. They put on a bunch of lotions on and they do a lot
Oh,
of this stuff, and I've gone to using castor oil,
yeah.
you know, to help my body absorb and release toxins because, like I said, if my liver isn't happy, my back is breaking out in hives, or I'm puffy, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Inflammation too is a big thing. Oof. Inflammation can cause so much. And so many people have inflammation. And that, I mean, that comes even from the, even if you're eating good, you can get inflammation. It just depends on what's in the food. Like even like GMOs, and they're so sprayed with chemicals, those can cause inflammation in the body. I
mhm.
mean, we're so bombarded with that stuff that you've got to be careful what you're eating, you know? So
Well,
detoxing is huge.
exactly, and I know that, I was talking to somebody the other day, and, like, she said that, she was coming back on to certain foods, and then somebody said, "Well, eat sweet potatoes first before you eat regular potatoes." And that actually made her sick. She did better off of regular potatoes than she did sweet potatoes. So that's the thing is this journey of thy body, the I body, is so individual that we have to do what's right for us.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I've learned is that it's not about extremes. Like for me, if somebody says do a detox and I'd go, yeah, nope. Yep, nope. Let me drink a tea, let me do it grace and ease, let me take some food out, let me drink water, let me do my thing.
Hmm.
Take some liverplex, do the small stuff, but don't I'm not gonna dump. I just I My body doesn't do the drama trauma well because I've been where my body didn't produce hormones, didn't produce this, and my liver numbers were really high, and so my system has gotten down to where it's working well, but it doesn't handle extremes.
Yeah. Yeah. And
For
you know your body, right?
I
That's the
know my
thing,
body.
knowing your body. I know my body well too. I can tell if I'm deficient in a nutrient. Like I know my body because I've been doing this for so long, right?
Mhm.
So, but I call myself a master faster. I'm like, I fast and detox.
Yeah.
But my body likes it.
I can get about 12 hours, 13 hours is my longest fast I can do before I start getting shaky and craving the proteins.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get used to not eating. That's the first couple days is hard. But after that, it's actually not as hard as you think.
It's not as hard as you think, huh?
No.
I'll have to maybe think about that a little
This
differently.
right here, it's the mind. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to be without food. You know, I even still, and I've been fasting for 20 years. It's like, I got to psych myself ready to do it.
Mhm.
But when I know my butt, like, I'm like, oh my God, I need a fast. Like, I will decide like that and I'll start the next day. Like, I can just tell, you know, yeah, I don't like if I start to feel a little like heavy or maybe something's not digesting good or I don't know, just stuff like that. I'm just like, oh, I just need to fast.
Mhm. Well, I know, like, for me, I gotta work on my plastics and metals. That I think is my next
Oh my
check
God.
in the box. Check in the box.
Yeah. Plastic.
And Paula says, chemicals through the skin gets in the bloodstreams in
Yeah.
about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
That's huge to
Yeah.
know that it is that quick, and people don't realize that, a lot of the chemical cleaners that we're using and a lot of I use vinegar and baking soda a lot for my stuff. Very rarely will I use other things, but it is. I'm very careful about what I put in my hands.
Oh yeah. I haven't used toxic things in most of my adult life. I don't use that.
Mhm.
I am as all natural as you can humanly possibly be. I do color my hair, you know. But yeah, that's my vice, coloring my hair. But everything else I try to do natural because
Mhm.
I mean our bodies are not they're not made to be. eating chemicals, or like she was saying, putting them on your skin. Like your body's like, what the heck is this? Inflamed, right? That's inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
So the more inflammation we have, I mean, 1 out of 2 people die of heart disease. Hello, that's inflammation, So,
Exactly.
and it's been going on for decades and decades, and who knows? It's like, this is the frustrating part, and I don't want to insult anyone or trigger anyone, I should say, but it's like, if our system was working, this would never happen. It is not working. Our so-called healthcare system, and I'm sorry, I don't want to get on a soapbox on your show, but it's like, is that okay? It's like, it's not working.
It's
What
not. It
we're
really isn't.
doing.
And it actually, somebody gave a thumbs up. That, because
Right
most,
back at
yeah, and most makeup contains formaldehyde, is
you.
what
Yep.
Paula says. And that's the thing is if
So
you
do dryer
really,
sheets.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And then we wear it, and it's like, so it is about being careful about what we do. That's why, there's a lot of times, I'll bless what I'm doing. Let that vibration come to
Yeah.
more of a graceful forming, and that kind of stuff, because we're all in the story of things. And I was just, it's like, there's these different things, and everything is a grain of salt. I take everything with a grain of salt, but I also know that it's been over 70 years, 80 years, possibly 90 years, when we started taking food off of the farm table and
Oh,
into the grocery
100
stores.
years. Yeah, 100 years ago, every other family had a farm. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And so we were eating healthier, and now it's like I was just watching something that they're putting this stuff together to bind meat together so
they make
that
a lot
they
of
can
it.
sell it as steak.
Hmm.
And what they were using, they had to use a mask because it wasn't healthy to breathe in.
And we're supposed to eat.
And we're supposed to eat it. I
I
mean,
know.
truth, and I'm taking this, on the grain of truth to this, I'm taking it at 70%.
Well, it's out there. They're
Yeah,
making
exactly. So,
stuff
but I'm
in
giving it
labs.
a little bit of grace here. I'm giving it a little grace being in
Yeah,
public here.
I'm very aware of all that stuff, and it's
Yeah. So,
horrible.
because I do want to stay on air here.
Right. That's true. I know, right? You got to be careful.
The driving uh, entities exist to support each other in our demise. Yes. So what did she say here? I'm sorry. The driving entities exist to support each other in our demise. Yes. Yes.
Yep.
I very well said, Paula. Thank you. Very
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
exactly, exactly. But that's the thing is that, we have to be in charge of our own knowing. We have to be in charge of our own knowing, whatever it
Yes.
is. I mean, it could be so different than somebody else. And, this COVID thing really gave us a good example of how we did not honor everybody's truths.
Yeah.
And I know that I disagreed with a lot of it going on out there. But the thing is, though, I kept my mouth shut,
Yeah.
and I sent love where I could, and I supported where I could, and that kind of thing. And um, uh, so, our our journey is hard. Thanks, she says. Thank you, Paula, for saying for conversating like this. I appreciate you doing this. So, if anybody else has comments that they want to chime in, I would be grateful. So,
Yeah.
going into this, that I'm so grateful, Jodie, that you're here, because it's like I love stirring the pot, because that's the thing is everybody's truth is their truth. I just bring in a perspective that hopefully helps somebody to negotiate their world in a little bit heightened awareness
Yeah.
state of mind, because we're all in the midst of what is really truth.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to say that the truth is, when you have food coming towards your mouth and it feels not right, then don't eat it.
Yeah. right.
And because somebody could be eating something and well, this tastes good to me, and somebody can say, oh, yeah, this doesn't. There's something about it that doesn't feel right, and we have to honor that of our body.
Yeah, your body knows. Yeah, that's true. And
It-
and if you like maybe have like, oh, I feel like this today, that's your body telling you. Unless you're in a sugar addiction cycle, but that may not be, but you know what I mean, like in general.
Mhm. And then that's when I ask who's controlling who.
Yeah.
Because like the sugar addiction that we are on, the carbohydrates, and it's not necessarily that I'm taking rice and all that kind of, but it's like it's the boxed stuff, the boxed crackers, the
Yes.
boxed the main processed food that we're on can be very addictive.
Yeah.
And then that sends us into that insulin resistance. And I know that I struggled with the insulin resistance for quite a while until I really got to know the ins and outs about it and how it kind of had its tentacles. It was almost like octopus that it had its tentacles in. It wasn't letting go until I started breaking some of my eating habits.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I started getting into that, that's where my fasting did that. When I was craving something to eat, I said, wait a minute, let me wait a half an hour. And then that threw my body into working through that insulin resistant craving to grab something. And then as I went further back, and then I went, oh, wait a minute, instead of getting something prepped, let me get some, tuna fish. Let me get something that's a little bit more protein based, which is important for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
if I get my
Yeah.
proteins, I'm better.
Yeah. And blood sugar is something that people don't pay attention to. And it is so important because, yeah, syndrome X, a lot of people have that, which is pre-diabetes. They don't even realize, so it's balancing your blood sugar is huge, huge for your health.
It is. It really is. And I know that I know a lot of people that have that the tester
Oh,
that you have.
mhm.
And they can actually do better with measuring their and they're actually healing because they're finding what food spikes and what food doesn't spike, and then they're staying away from it. And that's the teller. Everybody gets a message from their body somehow. Like me, it's been my liver. Other people, it's their teller on their sugars, or how their body reacts to food. On the through the sugar the insulin thing.
Yeah.
And there's other things, the bloating, the gut slowing down. How many times do we use the bathroom in 24 hours? Number one and
Yeah.
number two, how though there's a lot of tellers. And I know for me, when I'm going through a very stressful time, that I actually know that my gut mind, because there's the gut mind, the heart mind, and the mind,
Mhm.
that when I'm going through something, I actually say I'm digesting my life, and I'm massaging my guts, to get the energy moving through. And then I'll go from my mouth, I'm digesting my life, and then I start with the where my intestines are going back and forth, to get the energy moving through, because I know that a lot of energy sits in that gut area.
Yeah. Yep. It does. And again, the thoughts instantly, the emotions instantly in the body, just to remind people, because your body is giving you symptoms because it's telling you that, there's trapped emotions in there. But just start paying attention, if your body reacts to thoughts and the emotions. And I'm telling you, I could say it over and over again, like your body's always speaking to you and there's trapped energy in there. And
Mhm.
I say it again and again because we are not taught this. So people need to hear it to embody it, because it's not a common thing that they understand or know. We're not taught this. So when I discovered it, it was like, what the heck, And and then I'll tell you, if anybody is interested in knowing like what emotions are affecting you, I actually have a quiz, if you don't mind. I could
Go ahead.
about it. Okay. It's peace, P-E-A-C-E, peaceofmyheart.net/quiz. Peaceofmyheart.net/quiz. And that'll tell you what emotions are affecting you. Yeah.
I will try to put that in let me see. Let me go into so it's let's see, peace, P-E-A-C-E, peace. What was it again?
Oh,
Peace
Peace of My Heart.
of
That's my business name, peaceofmyheart.net. Yeah.
.net. Okay. And then that's for the quiz and how to reach her, right?
Yeah, that there's like different types, and it'll tell you what type you are. And a lot of people are they're empathic type. That's not what I call it, but yeah, that I do have people that take in other people's energy, and that affects your body too, so much.
Exactly. And that's the thing is that I know for me that, my emotions, being a double cancerian, I've dealt with my emotions left, right, up and down, inside and out. And I've gotten to where they don't really control me as much as that my husband thinks that they control me. I love my husband. But it's that thing, but I get quiet when I get emotional. So it's like I'm not one that like,
Yeah, yeah,
like I said, I'm a double cancerian, so it's like it's hard not to go underneath my crab, underneath the rock to just say, I just need just time to process. Give me time to process, honey. Um, and so, but going through that, but you know, so how did your body start showing you that it was the emotions, that it was the bloating part of you?
it was right before I got married. And the crazy thing is I knew that I shouldn't be getting married. I knew it wasn't right
Mm.
for me. And I got married. And then that's when it was like permanently huge. And if you go to that site, you'll see. I mean, me telling you and you seeing my photos is like a completely different experience. You're like, I tell people, and then they're like, oh yeah, and then they see the photo and they're like, holy crap. I'm like, yeah, I told you. But yeah, it was I think my body was saying no, right? Like, no,
Mhm,
no, no. I didn't listen. And then boom, you know?
mhm.
Yeah.
I
It's
hear you. I hear you. I know that for me that, during those younger years of myself that I would start losing weight.
mm,
That was my teller is I'd start losing weight, and I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I wish I had that problem," but when you're around 100 pounds,
yeah, right.
it's not a good thing to lose weight,
No.
and, I got a little bit heavier because of my kids, and people said, "You're looking so much healthier, Natasha."
Ah,
So, but there again is that bloating, and I know for me that, you know, I actually had problems with that bloating too, you know,
what do you, yeah. And see, and right away you think it's what you eat, right? Because that's what people think. Oh, it's what I'm eating. Because I went through all that too. Like, oh, then I eliminated everything. It's not the food, right? I mean, it can be, but most likely it's not the food.
no, and those emotional triggers are very sneaky. Very sneaky. People don't realize that sometimes, like you mentioned about the phone call and how you bloated right away.
That fast. Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't that aware that that is what actually can be, and those are those little quiet whispers that hit the subconscious mind, that then hit the conscious body, that well-oiled machine that it's like, "Wait a minute, this is not a safe place. Let me be safe. Whew, let me get safer."
Yeah.
And I hate it when past lives start coming in.
Mm.
You had a life, if I can say this. Can I say this on the air?
Oh. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
You had a life where you were stabbed.
Mm,
a couple of
really?
them. And so with your body this time was creating that boundary. So if something happened to you physically, that they couldn't get into your vital organs.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Protection.
Protection. A lot of people have those extra pounds on them because of protection
For sure. Yeah.
in one form or another. I mean, that kept tapping on me. So thank you for letting me say that.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm asking for divine healing on this because you're not in that same unsafe place. So your body doesn't need to react the same way.
Yeah.
But going into this, that we do have stories of ourselves, and what do we do about it? What do we do about it? Thank you for
Heal.
healing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're coming down on time. Let's talk about what you do during your summer months.
Oh, so right now I'm putting together a series of speakers, and we're talking about all kinds of health topics. So spirituality, Natasha's on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're talking about, oh gosh, stress, anxiety. Speaking of anxiety, stomach issues, bloating. I talked to a woman, did an interview today with someone on like growing up with alcoholism, being a
Mm-hmm.
child of alcoholic parents, codependency, narcissism, breath work, healing breath work, foods, dieting, weight loss. Most the people I interview, I don't interview people that believe in all the fad diets, and this is like the opposite of that. So,
Yeah. It's
uh,
about the whole health instead of just how can we fix this one element.
yeah. And my series is called Heal from Within. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to take this thing and then I'm going to get healed. No, everything comes from within, inside of you, the healing. Not everything, but most everything, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
um, you have so much more power than you know to heal. And people like Natasha and myself guide you to be able to do that, because
Mm-hmm.
it does all come from within. That
It
is the
does.
true healing. It's not going to come outside of you. The true healing is inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now there's outer triggers that make us or help us realize, oh, wait a minute. Here is you and your son. I love it. I love it.
On this pillow.
I love
I thought it
it.
would be gone by now. It's not. I'm going to sit on the pillow. Maybe that will help.
There you go. At least it's out of your eyes. I just love it. So I'm sorry
Oh,
you're going through this, but I apologize but
no,
it is
no,
what it
it's
is, and I love it because
okay.
this is how, if anything, there's
That
no
looks
mistakes.
psychedelic.
I really take that yes, there's mistakes, but there's no mistakes at the same time. That how do we interact with these triggers? Now after this show, I really hope you're not hard on yourself because this is not something you could have controlled. Really, you couldn't have controlled it. And so thank you for showing how you deal with a trigger. uh,
I'm a go with the flow, but I
I
mean,
am
I hope
too.
people can see me though, I guess. Good enough.
Yes. Oh, we can see you. We can see you. So going into this, uh I love that. So this is a free event, and I want to make sure that people know. All you have to do
Yes.
is sign up.
Yep.
And then what you do is that it brings you in and you can listen to any of the speakers, right?
Yep. You'll get an email each day with the speakers, and then you can listen to the one that you're interested in. Yeah. And every speaker is giving a free gift, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it'll be good. It'll be great. So then you can hear all different aspects and things that people have done to heal different things.
Exactly, because we're all uh that we're all in the minute of trying to do better, and it's about self-empowering. Somebody was talking to me about being grounded, and I said being grounding is knowing yourself.
Yeah.
Trusting yourself, knowing yourself, being with yourself. That's being grounded. And then you can add on, yes, Mother Earth, I love you. Thank you for holding me on in your gravity of love. But it's that getting down into knowing who you are, knowing why your toe hurts, or at
Mhm.
least having a good idea, knowing why your knees hurt, at least having a good idea. Because we're not always right, and this journey is not a straight line.
No, no. And again, trauma's stored in the body.
It
It's got to
does.
be released. It's got
It
to,
does.
yeah.
Yeah, that and I'm in an I've a lot of things I've known, but now I'm in a course to kind of give language to what I know. And it's about healing the nervous system. And that's
Hmm.
one thing that I've practiced is that I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe in spite of it.
Yeah.
Whatever the it is, whatever that language is of being safe. And and so going into this, that it's all about a journey. So how can people reach you? How can people reach you in that story? Because I forgot to ask you an email to put on the for the in the description. So I will
Oh,
put that in later.
okay. Yeah. Um, so I'm at Jodie Geline. That's my name. You can see on here.com or peaceofmyheart.net. It goes to the same place. And then you can do the quiz if you want. If anybody wants to book a call or anything, I could give you that link, maybe. I
Okay.
don't,
Yeah. Why don't you email
otherwise,
me?
yeah, they can do the quiz.
Yeah, email it to me, and then I will definitely put it in the description. So all information will be
Okay.
in the description of this podcast for Jody. And so when is this event this summer?
July 22nd, it starts. Yeah.
And it goes for
So,
what, 5 days?
7 days.
7 days. And it's a
Yeah.
free event,
Yep.
and you can sign up by going to what's
Healfromwithin.com.
.com.
Yeah.
Healwithin.com. I
Sorry.
had it, but I didn't have it straight in my head.
I
Sorry.
said it wrong. Healfromwithinseries.com.
Heal Within.
Healfromwithinseries.com.
Yes,
Yeah.
because this
I'll
is
give you
what
the
you're. This is about your third one that you're doing. I
my
know the sun.
I'm sitting on my ankles now.
I
My eighth one.
love
Yeah,
you.
no, I've done several of these. So yeah, it's a great way to get people together and really for me it's like all the different speakers that people can just gravitate where they resonate, who they resonate with.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps people to learn different strategies and tips and stuff from different experts around. They're all over the world. I have people from all over the world. So
Oh, that's amazing. That's
yeah.
amazing. Well, I'm excited to be a part of it. And that's not why I had you on. I wanted you on my show for the information that you just gave, because you're such a kind heart, and you want to help people get
Yeah,
out there. So,
I know. I was like, when I healed, I'm like, holy man, there's people out there that need this.
mhm.
They go for years to, doctors and they're, I mean, I talk to people that this has been going, it's chronic, pretty much who I work with, it's been chronic, right? Years and years
Mhm.
and years and years. Some people, since they were little, they've never been healthy. So, I mean, I work with people who've been unhealthy their whole lives.
Mhm.
And it's like, it's not when people get old, they're unhealthy. This is what we kind of are programmed to think. But people in their 20s and 30s are very unhealthy. I mean, it's shocking how unhealthy. There's really nobody that's has great health. I say I have great health and I get healthier with age. I know health. I know the body. That's my thing. I'm like really good at it. But it's like, but who tells you ever I get healthier with age? Like
I
you don't
know.
hear that. But I do. Yeah. But it's like it's shocking like how unhealthy at a young age when it never should happen, but it is.
Exactly. Well, we
Emotions.
started out with a lot of parents don't know better to do better. And then we feed our kids with, oh my gosh, the school system.
Oh no.
The red or the dyes, the corn syrups. It's just
Years ago I wanted to go
and
in
all
there.
the pesticides and
Oh yeah, so bad. Chemicals. I wanted to go in there years ago and talk to them, but they were back then. They didn't want to hear it either. They still don't. It's just
It comes down from the top. It
yeah,
comes down from the top, and
so
it's
sad.
so woven in. It's just so woven in from the generations and the years that it's going to take a crowbar of many to get movement done different.
Yeah.
So it's a thing, but I'm going to say though, we had like 2 or 3 parents that really started the ball rolling, that we stopped them from spraying pesticides around
Oh,
our kids on the playground.
oh, good.
That we put up that you had to use like vinegar and other less toxic scenarios, because they were spraying cracks in the playground right before recess. So there was no consciousness of what was going on, and so the group of parents that I was in, we got out there and we started signing, and a few parents
Some
made movement in our school district.
awesome. That's so
So we got to be willing to say what doesn't, the integrity, keep with the integrity, but say
yes.
it with information. This is not right.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I mean, think of back when the DDT they were spraying like smoke of, oh my God, and spraying the
yes,
kids. Oh,
I know. It's really sad. It's really sad. And the information that the people who make the heart medicine is the ones that make Roundup.
yeah, Monsanto.
Hmm.
Can I say that word on here?
We
Oh
did.
yeah, that's like
I know.
not
So going into this is just being aware. If we can give you any information, be aware of how your body interacts with the things around you. If it doesn't like it, please don't brush it under the rug. Listen to it. If it starts getting itchy because you did there's something that was going on around you, check in. And that's the thing is that I really learned that my mast cell, there's this mast cell that, I always pictured it like a kite. It flies around. This mast cell flies around and says, what's going on? What do I need? I need to connect with something. I need to do something. And I learned that, because I had a tree nut allergy, and it was airborne. And people kept saying to me, tree nut allergies are not airborne. But why am I getting triggered as soon as I walk into a room and I don't even know there's nuts in there?
interesting.
And so with that, then I learned that there's this mast cell that flies around and says, wait a minute, I know you have an allergy to this, and this thing is triggering me. So I'm going to grab onto that and throw in anxiety, throw in reaction, throw in this, throw in that. And as I've been working with that and imagining this mast cell that's flying around, and I pull it down. Literally, I image myself pulling it down, holding on to it and saying, we're safe. We're safe. I will respect. I take, my medicine for an allergy so that I keep breathing. But I actually, though, have gotten my reaction less. Plus, I also know that I had coughs a lot when I was younger, so my lungs are a little bit more inflamed from
Yeah.
past coughs. And so with that, then as I do that, I've been picturing my lungs being healthier. So grabbing onto that mast cell and then asking my lungs to start healing, and then doing the vitamins and doing deep breathing work and that kind of stuff has actually helped me to be less reactionary to a reactionary scenario.
Awesome. That's
So
awesome.
that's how we can heal ourselves.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
and I love that. I'm gonna stop this conversation on Paula's statement. Speaking truth is never a bad thing.
I could do that for hours.
I know. We're going to have you back on, my dear.
Yeah,
We're going to have you back on.
that sounds
I
good.
would
This was really
love
fun.
to have you back on.
Maybe
Um,
next time I won't have
You're fine. And please don't shame yourself about this. Okay. Please, please, please.
Yeah, I won't.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm Natasha Venter, intuitiveclarifications.com. Check out my new website. I have a new website with a
Yay!
new holder, and I am excited about it. I hope you find blessings in your
What's your
world.
website?
Intuitiveclarifications.com.
Okay, yep.
Intuitiveclarifications.com. I hope that you find blessings in finding your truth with your body, and know that no matter where you're at and what you're doing, you have help. So either you can come to Jodie or I, and we can help you with this dance of the body and learning how to negotiate it, or find somebody else that you can trust, because sometimes we need to have another perspective to help us get through this process of these hidden emotions and hidden stories that we keep stuffing down into our guts.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a thing. It's a thing, and it's a journey. It's a journey.
Yes. And oh my God, okay, I have to say one more thing.
Please do.
This is my thing. I say you have way more control over your health than you have any idea. You have way more control over your health than you have any idea. You totally do. Like you do. Yeah.
The mind is amazing. You can believe anything
Mm-hmm.
if you convince it.
Yep.
You can do anything if you convince it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paula, for checking it out. I'm so grateful that when you do something new, it's like it's exciting. And so thank you, Paula, for checking it out. I'm glad that it was good. So blessings, everybody. May you find peace in your love and heart, peace, love, and grace in your heart of desires. I'm Natasha Venter. See you next Wednesday at 4:00 Pacific time. Bye now. Thank you, Jodie, for being here with me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Uh-huh.